Who was Brad Chase?
Brad Chase?
Yeah. What impact did he have on your life?
He was a great guy. He was my first real boss out of college. It's not quite right, but it's close to right. Brad was a group product manager at Microsoft. Mm-hmm. Microsoft was my, I'll call it my first job out of college. Mm-hmm. This is 1991. Microsoft had only about 3,000 people at the time.
Mm-hmm. And just for reference, because I have no idea, how many employees do you think they have now? It's going to be a multiple of that, of course.
300, 400,000.
Yeah, orders of magnitude.
Multiple orders of magnitude. Yeah, 2 to 3. And the product managers were kind of this, elite little group of really smart people. We weren't very big. And he was my boss, and we were working on MS-DOS 5. Which maybe I would say we'll have to go 2 standard deviations at in your audience distribution curve to find anybody who really knows what MS-DOS 5 was. But it was a really big operating system for Microsoft at the time, and we made an upgrade. And the feature was we broke the 640K barrier. You're not going to engage on the geeky stuff, but it was a really big product, and my job was to create the packaging, manage the manufacturing, and figure out how to get this physical product into the Egghead. Some of you will remember Egghead. Egghead was a retail software, store, and to push the product out into Egghead. That was my first job. And Brad was a guy who, he's one of my mentors. I only worked for him for a short period of time, but I was a big idea thinker, big risks, big bets. And he encouraged me at a very young age. He funded me to take a really big swing at something and, supported me in it. And it failed miserably.
Is this the book project?
Yeah.
You want to tell people about it?
Well, I don't know how that interesting is other than the lesson of take big swings.
It is, but the details help paint a picture, right?
Okay.
People can conjure a visual in their head.
All right. It's become a huge series. It's a series for dummies, blank for dummies.
Yep.
And the book that the Dummies series was founded on was DOS for Dummies, believe it or not. It was like the best-selling book about software of all time. And I was like, I'm a young product manager. I want to sell more MS-DOS 5 upgrades. And I was like, okay, we have all these software retailers where people go, but the really big thing at the time, believe it or not, was Barnes & Noble and Borders bookstore.
Sure.
The bookstore experience was huge back then. And DOS for Dummies sold millions and millions of copies of this book in Barnes & Noble and Borders. And so I was like, why don't we do a bundle with DOS for Dummies and have that be the manual for the upgrade? Mm-hmm. Bundle it together, the book and the upgrade.
Seems reasonable.
And distribute it through bookstores. How brilliant. And so I went and met with one of the Riggio guys at Barnes & Noble. I met with the guy who created the Dummies series, this guy, John. So I met with all these people. We designed the product. It was really, I was, feeling pretty like a big deal. Built a bunch of it. Probably cost us $8 to $10 a unit.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is a lot for COGS, right?
Yeah.
Cost of goods sold. I can't remember how many we built, but it was at best a C, maybe a D.
What was the retail price?
You hit the problem. The problem was
people are going in to buy a $12 book.
And it was a $54 price tag or $49 price tag, which is what basically what the software cost at Egghead. And it kind of looked a bit too much like a book. I kind of made it look like a book. Wasn't the greatest cover. Anyway, I'm embarrassed about what it looks like now. I have one, of course, as a reminder. But yeah, the shock value was too much. People didn't realize there was software in it. And so we ate a bunch. We ended up getting rid of all the inventory, but it was not a success. And the amazing thing, so depending on where your audience is in their careers, like you work at a lot of places out there, and great organizations encourage innovation, encourage big idea people to take big swings, and do not punish them when it doesn't work out according to plan. If that happens too many times, maybe there's a pattern and somebody should go find another job. But Brad Chase, back to Brad, sat me down. I thought I was, for my review, and I thought I was going to, who knows? It was a $10, $20 million mistake, Mm-hmm. And I was a young kid. And he said, I remember distinctly, he said, all right, what's your next big idea? amazing, that Microsoft was and is an amazing organization because of that kind of culture.